Hi, everyone, and welcome back. We are getting into some really advanced stuff today. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about working with goals or themes, concepts in class. And I know in level one, I said we never work with this stuff. But as you move into more advanced teaching, you might find ways to sprinkle them in. um, you can start to add some trauma sensitive themes, ideas, mantras, sounds into class. Some initial themes. So, we're not going to talk about them all today, and it will actually take some time to work through them all with you. So, yay on you. If you have the membership, we'll be working on this for a while. Some initial themes to think about are themes of strength, groundedness, or working with support. The theme of being uplifted, centering, expansiveness, themes of ease, rest, or care, and themes of holding both and, holding contradiction, holding complicated presence. So I'd start with these kind of themes. And then later on, you might explore themes like chakras and colors and mantras or single words, or even themes that come out of our yogic texts like the Yoga Sutras, like the yamas and niyamas. Another thing to note is working with themes, especially some of the ones I just mentioned, is great when working with young adults or teens. So, for those of you who've been waiting for that teen training, you might use some of these concepts. Please note that when you center a class around a theme, it's important to know that it does have the potential to trigger. And what it can really bring up is ways that we're not in alignment with that theme. So if I'm asking you to feel into your strength or to feel into the parts of you that are at ease, you might immediately come to the front of your mind is your weaknesses, how you feel weak, how you don't feel strong, or how you don't feel at ease, how you feel really stressed. And this is really common. It actually happens for me. If someone says, like, think of someone who makes you feel really happy or who you love, I automatically get sad and like think of losing them. So just note how sometimes the opposite of what you want to happen can happen. Um, and a good way to work with this is to work with as if. So let folks know that it's normal, that those thoughts come up. So you really want to normalize, and then you might use techniques like, what would it be like if you had strength? Where might you feel that? How might you act? How might you hold your body if you were centered? Um, and that's a great tactic. So, looking at a class like around, let's say, the concept of strength, let's just look at one to start with. You might start by just exploring a variety of positions, standing or seated, and inviting practitioners to feel into where they feel most strong. Like, do you feel your strength more when you're standing, when you're seated, when you're in the front of the room, in the back of the room, when you're upside down? Like, what kind of positions feel strong for you? And you might give some suggestions and some times for exploring. Maybe it's pressing into a wall. It's different, right? For everyone, it might be balancing that brings someone a feeling of strength. Um, and as folks settle into their shape or position or pose of strength, you might ask them to tune into, like, how do you know you're feeling strong? What's allowing you to know that? And invite them to really recognize how they know that they're in their strength, and to feel into that knowing so that they can find it in other times in their life. You might invite them to adjust the pose in small ways now to see if that brings more or less strength, and to see if they can actually come out of the pose but still hold on to the feeling of strength, and work on coming in and coming out and seeing where they might lose some of that and where they might gain some of that. You can work on a scale, like, to help them. So on a 1 to 5, how much in your strength do you feel? Because sometimes otherwise it can be like vague, like, I don't know, am I feeling stronger or not? You also will want to explore poses which don't feel strong at all, and think about how you could add elements of strength to them. So, asking folks to come into a shape that feels not strong or weak. And then, what can we do with our energy, intention, or a slight adjustment to feel stronger? Um, Knowing that we're not always in a position of strength, but we might be able to make some small adjustments that help us feel into it. Remind folks there are no wrong answers and they can stop at any time. So it's really exploratory. Um, you might start inviting questions of, have they been allowed to feel strong, to feel weak? Or have they been fighting against those feelings or permission for those feelings? What kinds of assumptions do they have around people who are too strong or people who are too weak? And what would it feel like to be in presence with both our strength and our vulnerability? And then again, this could be triggering. So we want to work with this carefully with our more advanced teachers and more advanced students. You might work in movement. How does your body want to move when it's feeling strong, when it's feeling more vulnerable? What are the positions that it wants to take? And where is that middle where it can hold both? What are the kind of the sizes that your body wants to take? Um, and what is the texture? And you might invite them to call a color into their mind that feels strong, a speed. Maybe it's a natural element. So you might work with images or textures to feel into qualities of strength and qualities of vulnerability. Some poses to suggest for working on this idea of strength are your warriors 1 and 2, lunges, runner's lunge, low lunge, high lunge. Also things like dolphin, dolphin pose, crow pose, um, mountain pose, great one for feeling into strength, even chair pose, and extended side angle, and finally utplutihi, lifting up off the ground. So you might work with those in addition to your kind of free form moving to explore strength. And I'll be sure to record something for you with those poses. Hope this was helpful, and I'm looking forward to hearing how you incorporate strength into your class.